Launched in September, the One Roar Fund will serve as a vehicle to help all 31 of Columbia's varsity athletics programs and club sports to compete at the highest level. We remain committed to providing our student athletes with the best resources available to help them achieve their goals. Although competition has been postponed, the competitive fire within our student athletes still burns as they await the call to return to athletic events. One Roar will provide our 700-plus student athletes with the necessary resources to stay in prime shape, mentally sharp, and above all, healthy and safe, as we await the continuation of Ivy League play. Together, we roar as one.
Welcome back to Conversations with the Staff. Tonight I am joined by our administrative staff for the football team. Just a quick introduction. Jay Fitch, he's our Director of Video Technology. He's in his fifth year, really his sixth year with the Columbia team. Started as a video assistant and made his way over to the video coordinator role, and he's now our Director of Video and Technology. We got two guys who started last March, so that they haven't seen a lot of action yet, at least in recent history. But Connor Fight, he's our Director of Social Media and Assistant Director of Player Personnel, joins us from Wake Forest, and spent time at Murfreesboro, Tennessee, at Middle Tennessee State, where he went to college and started his career as a video assistant. And finally, some of you probably know Mike DeFazio. He was a Columbia football player here, graduated in 2006. He also played baseball. He is our Director of Player Personnel, and he came over after coaching for 10 years as the head high school coach at KIPP NYC College Prep in the South Bronx, and he was also the head baseball coach and head strength and conditioning coach. And most recently, Mike he was the master of ceremonies for our 2019 team banquet. So welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us, Greg.
Let's kick it off. I think this is a great opportunity for our alumni and fans to get to know kind of what you guys do off the roll. So, let's start it off with the veteran on staff, Jay. For those who don't know, can you briefly explain your role with the football team and, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so my job entails pretty much first and foremost filming all games and practices for the team and then uploading them onto our servers for the coaching staff and student athletes to review. I also have to hire and manage a staff of video assistants during the season that help us film games, shoot highlights, and assist me with uploading film onto Exos. And then I essentially maintain the entire Exos, it's now called Catapult ecosystem. And then I assist the staff with a wide range of technical issues. So they have problems with their computer, meeting rooms, stuff like that. If they need help, I try to help them fix it. And then I also create videos for social media, hype videos, season highlight, workouts, stuff like that.
And for those who don't know, Exos Catapult, that's our video editing and watching software for the coaches' film. All right, Mike, you've been around, so you're up next. You've been at Columbia since '06 or before, and in and out of as an alum. But what is your role for the Columbia football team?
Sure. Well, I'm the director of player personnel, and basically what I do is I oversee all of our recruiting efforts, managing the database, and just making sure that the coaches have all the information necessary in order to be able to find and recruit the best kids to come to Columbia to play football.
Awesome. And Connor, you have the fun job and the fun title, Director of Social Media. Can you explain that for our alumni and fans?
Sure. So a lot of emphasis on social media and digital stuff right now. My day-to-day, any posts that we put out on social media, almost any post we put out on social media, I'll have a hand in putting together. Additionally, I am making things that aren't necessarily seen by everybody that are used in the recruiting efforts, the edits and personalized things, congratulatory graphics. That is also something that I'm doing on a daily basis. And there's the front facing aspect, which is what you see on the feeds, and then there's the DMs. So
awesome. So you guys are all pretty passionate about what you do, but let's start with Mike. What are some of the favorite aspects of your job on a day-to-day basis? What are some of the favorite things that you get to do?
Yeah, for sure. So, as you say, Greg, I was a high school head coach for 10 years. So, my relationship with college football and recruiting has been from the opposite standpoint, right? Not knowing the other side. So for me, one of my favorite things is just understanding the ins and outs of recruiting from the college side of things. That's been a really interesting part for me. And then also just learning about the off-field operations of a successful college program. I know what it's like from the high school side, but learning it from this side, with a staff like ours and under Coach Bagnoli has been a really good experience.
Awesome. Jay, what are some of your favorite things in your day-to-day?
Yeah, so pretty much when it's the season, even though the schedule is extensive, I feel like that's the fun part, having practice, games, and more specifically is creating the weekly hype video. So there's so much stuff going on in the course of a game week, but being able to pick a song, putting it all together in time while, still doing all my other stuff in the crunch of a game week, it's a challenge, but it's fun to me.
It's what we all live for, game day. Connor, I feel like this one's a toss-up because we all know how good you are at graphics, but what are some of your favorite things to do on a day-to-day?
It is really enjoyable to be able to have a creative outlet that ties into the job. It's really something to when you make a graphic that you think is really, really good and it goes out, and then the mentions on social media are just, getting flooded with people commenting on it. That's something that's really neat to see.
Awesome. I'm gonna throw it right back to you, Connor. You started last March, so a lot has gone on in this past year. And a lot hasn't gone on. We weren't able to play this last fall, but what's something unique or something that surprised you about New York City and Columbia, especially, you coming from Tennessee and Wake Forest? What is it about New York that's been a pleasant surprise or something that just stands
out? Something that was a very big pleasant surprise is the access to nature. I've spent a lot of time looking at the different parks. I've spent time over at Central Park, Riverside, and you wouldn't expect, thinking, oh, I'm going to go live in Manhattan, that you would have easy access to go spend some time in nature. But it's just right outside my door. I'm down the street from one park. I'm very close to Central Park, and I can just go traipse around and look at that. When it snowed, I got to go out and just kind of take that in, and it definitely was not something that I at all expected to see when I was coming up here, but it is something that I've really appreciated in my time.
Awesome. And Jay, I know you kind of grew up in and around New York City, but what's something that surprised you about Columbia or New York since you've been here?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say just the fact that there's something for everyone in New York City, and it's all easily accessible with the 275 subway ride. I mean, the options are really endless. You can spend 4 years here and still feel like you have a lot to explore. And then just in terms of Columbia, the campus is beautiful, the environment is great. You walk on and you forget that you're in the city.
Awesome. And Mike, you chose to do your 4 years of undergrad at Columbia, and obviously you've worked to get back here and work for the team. What made you want to decide to come to Columbia as an undergrad, and what was that drive to come back and work for your alma mater?
Yeah. Well, when I was going through the college process, if I can remember that far back, I knew I wanted to go to the best school I could go to, while also playing both football and baseball at the highest level. And Columbia was a school that gave me that opportunity to play both. So, it was an opportunity really couldn't turn down, an Ivy League degree in New York City and being able to play both football and baseball. In regards to coming back, I've been looking to transition to the college level for a few years now. And, just the opportunity to do it here where I played myself in college is a really unique opportunity that a lot of people don't get. And so it's definitely something I just had to jump at when the opportunity came.
Awesome. Going to move on to my favorite question because I get to figure out where I need to go. But we'll start with Mike. He's been in and around the city probably almost his entire life. What are some of your favorite places to eat in New York?
It's probably the hardest question you could ask someone like me who's lived here as long as I have. I used to live downtown in the East Village, which anybody who knows the city knows that's probably the best neighborhood for food, and just all of New York, right? Between, Michelin star restaurants and then hole in the wall places that are just incredible. If I had to narrow it down, I would say an Italian spot downtown in the East Village called Frank's, which is unbelievable. And then literally 2 blocks away, there's a taco spot called Diablito Taqueria, which is just like a little small hole in the wall place, which is just unbelievable Mexican food. So I'd probably say those two.
And trust me when I say Mike's got a lot more recommendations. So if you ever see him, just pick his brain. Connor, as the newest member of this crew to the New York City area, have you found any favorite places to eat yet?
I have. It is tough to beat, a spot that's just right next to campus, Milano's. They make an incredible sandwich. Really hard to beat.
I don't think anyone on our staff or team could disagree with you there. We're not sponsored, so. Jay, what do you got? What's your favorite place to eat in the city?
Yeah, so up by Baker, I really like Tubby Hook Tavern. It's got some great food. Their fried chicken sandwich is really good. You can't go wrong with so many different places in the city.
Tubby Hook is a great choice. I've been there myself. All right, so I know it's been a while since we played a game, but I'm going to start with you, Jay, since you've been on the staff since we've actually played. But what are some of your favorite Columbia football memories?
Yeah, so it's definitely got to be a toss-up between the 2017 Princeton game and then the 2017 homecoming game. Obviously, the Penn homecoming game was great, and it's an easy answer. But for me, probably the Princeton game that year sticks out a little bit more. And just because I was up on the roof for that game and the Princeton filmers or whoever they were working for the team, they were just being loud, obnoxious, talking all types of smack in general. So when the clock hit 0, it was really great to see their faces. It was poetic justice when we won.
Awesome. And Mike, you have a little bit of history with the team. And obviously you can go back to your playing days all the way up to now, but do you have any favorite Columbia moments that really stand out to you?
Yeah, for sure. I think I'd have to say just my senior year as a whole. And the reason being is that I got to play with my younger brother. He was a freshman here when I was a senior. And he ended up starting as a freshman. So the opportunity to play with him was really awesome. And there are two memories that really stick out in particular. One was during camp. My brother started off on the defensive side as a D lineman, and I was a fullback when that position still existed. And I got a screen thrown to me, caught it, and my brother hawked me down from behind and just dragged me to the ground, tackled me, and gets up and he pretty much like shoves me back down on the ground and just stares me down and walks over me. And that was something he'd been hanging on to for like 18 years. He'd been waiting to do that for a while. So that was a really good one. And then, end of the season, it was the last game. It was Brown, and it was what ended up being the last play of the game for us. And it was a quick bubble screen to the receiver, and he got hit, ball popped out. It was a fumble, and I dove in on the pile. I was trying to get the ball back, and my helmet gets knocked off and everything. My arm's getting twisted, and got back up, didn't get the ball back. They recovered, and that was pretty much it. That was the end of my college career right there. And I remember walking off the field, helmet in hand, just kind of looking back, and obviously my emotions were, starting to get the best of me. And my brother, who was then starting on offense, he was the center. He just came over, he put his arm around me, and said some nice things, and we walked off the field together, for the last time, which was a really special thing. Not everybody gets that chance. It was a really great opportunity.
That's awesome. And Connor, I know this is a tough one for you, but anything that you picked up in the last year that you wish you were here for, or that you can remember that'd be like, well, that was a pretty awesome win.
I've been able to go back through and see videos and photos and take in the experience that by proxy that a lot of people were able to do being there. And I think that the pin game that Jay mentioned, that just looked wild. That looked crazy. And there's some photo albums that I can go back through and use in my work, and just seeing the fans and just how crazy everybody was going. It was really cool.
Yeah, that was definitely a fun one. Last question. Some of you guys may not have an answer for it. Any special talents or hobbies? We'll start with Mike.
Well, I'm actually a yoga teacher on the side. I've been teaching yoga for almost 5 years now. And during the pandemic, I've been doing it virtually, like most people have been doing everything. So I teach a weekend yoga class over Zoom. And I guess a special talent. I used to do voiceover stuff, and I actually did a voiceover commercial for Delta Airlines, in 2008, 2009, maybe. So that was my 15 seconds of fame right there.
There you go. Well, Jay, Connor, when you guys need some voiceover work, you know where to go. Connor, what about you? You got any special talents or hobbies that people may or may not know about you?
It's something that at this point they likely would know about me, but graphic design actually just started out as a side project, a hobby. I was coaching at the time, and I was just looking to do something to help, bolster the team, uplift the social media a little bit. So I just took it upon myself to teach myself graphic design, and it turned out I had a knack for it, and it's led to a bunch of roles and opportunities that I initially would have never seen myself doing. But it's been an interesting skill to have, and it's allowed me to just pursue some side creative projects that aren't necessarily for school or work or anything like that. And it's a good outlet for creativity.
Awesome. And Jay, you have any special talents or hobbies?
Not really, but I would say just living 10 minutes away from Yankee Stadium, just going to a Yankee game, going to watch some baseball. It's a $10 Uber ride, and just have a good time at a baseball game. My favorite thing.
And when baseball season's right around the corner. So
yeah.
All right. That's all I got. And in typical fashion in this series, I've just kind of opened it up to the coaches or the staff that I've talked to, and any final words to our alumni. So, Connor, we'll start with you. I don't know if you got anything.
Sure. It's been an unusual year, to be sure, but I just really appreciate all the support and the engagement that the fans have continued to have, through this situation. It's been really heartening, and I'm happy to see it, and I'm looking forward to getting back to action.
Awesome, and we'll hop over to Jay. You got anything?
Yeah, just looking forward to this fall and another season of Columbia football. Hopefully we can be fully back to normal, and thanks for everything you do. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. And Mike, close us out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time for Columbia football. As somebody who's been involved with the program since '02, really, starting as a player and an alumni for however many years now, it's a really good time. We have an amazing staff, and we got great kids. We just solidified a great recruiting class for the class of 2021, and it's looking bright. And stay involved, stay supportive, as you guys always have been, and just be excited for this fall.
Next week on Conversations with the Staff, we'll sit down with our strength coach, Bob Gilmartin, our equipment manager, Jake Corbett, and our head athletic trainer, Jim Goff.